Hey there, I'm Jama, and over the past few years, I've become very interested in onomatology, the study of names. I've never really liked my name until I researched the meaning of it. My name means paradigm shifter, and I'd like to shift your paradigm by shining a light on onomatology and how it can potentially help you find your purpose, help you communicate better with others, or even both. In each episode, I ask someone 8 basic questions regarding their name that focuses on onomatology. So sit back, relax, and try to shift your paradigm with this next episode. All right, so on today's podcast episode, I am interviewing somebody who I just recently met, and she actually lives in a different country, which is really cool. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Lovely, lovely to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Really excited.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited, especially because of how beautiful your name is and the meaning behind it is really cool too.
Uh-huh. Oh,
So,
thanks.
yeah, so it's Ileana, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know the meaning of Ileana?
I might have looked it up like a long time ago, but I totally forgot and I didn't want to cheat.
Yeah, okay. I looked it up and its origin is Romanian and Greek a little bit. And
Okay.
it means torch, bright, or shining one, or brilliant. So those are like, I
Oh,
just know,
wow.
like, those are such positive
Oh,
words.
wow. Nice. I like
What
that.
do you think?
Oh, I like it. The shining part and the torch resonates for a lot of reasons that I've come into, attunement recently, and especially because I've had to also talk with a lot of people regarding how they see me and perceive me. And it's been, very recurrent on, just sometimes when I'm in my energy and in alignment, it feels like it's like I'm a lot of energy, and a sense of purpose came into my life regarding, to guide others into their path. So yeah, I like it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice. It's beautiful.
Well, and do you know how your parents chose your name?
Well, this is a cool story. Well, you see, in Latin America and Venezuela as well, we are very accustomed to using two or more names. So the norm at these times, these modern times, is to at least have two. My children, ironically, don't have a second name, but it's like the norm. And so I have two first names. And my mother wanted to pass down her own name, just like her mother did. And so she carries her second name is my grandmother's,
Oh,
but the chosen name that she had for me was not Ileana. It was Andreina. But Andreina Ileana, which is my, her name, Ileana, didn't sound to her that well. And so she switched them. So she legally named me Ileana Andreina, but she referred to me as Andreina. And
okay.
so only until we migrated to the United States, I did not go by Ileana ever, ever. And this was about from the time I was nine, around nine.
Okay.
Um, and so, but I didn't either refer to myself as Andreina because it was a very long name. And so
How do you spell it?
it's Andreina.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Sort of like a diminutive for Andrea or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really pretty. I like
Andrea. And so for me as a child, as a small child, I referred to myself as Tati,
it.
which
Okay.
is how my, really close family knows me, and that's how I used to, or I still go by in my close, family content, and
Okay.
friends that have had the privilege to come very close to my family. So sometimes friends will be like, "No, Tati, like who is that?" And they're like, "Well, Tati is like," and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's like, who are you talking about? And so
Yeah.
it's the friends that have come close to my family and know my mom, and they started here, like, what are they talking about? Why do they call you that? And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like three names.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a long story, and it feels totally different. It's like Andreina is like a much more sweet girl, and she's
Mhm.
like maybe, what my mother wanted me to be and what everybody wanted me to be.
Do you
And
know the meaning of that name?
no.
I'll tell you.
Please do.
Which is so interesting because when
Oh my
I
God.
first met you a couple days ago,
Yeah.
like the feeling that I got from the experiment that we were in was that it was like the word strong, like literally just like so strong. And
Oh.
I just looked up the meaning. I'm not going to be able to pronounce it correctly. Adrian,
Andreina.
Andreina.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. It means courageous warrior or womanly queen.
Oh wow.
And that's super strong. I was
Oh
like,
wow.
that's like
Oh my God, I have to
very
take
strong.
Andreina out of the closet. Wow, that was such a surprise.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
it. So
oh,
both like
wow.
pretty strong names, I feel like.
Oh wow, this is oof. This is so pretty. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and
Wow.
so, but you do just go, you are located right now in Venezuela, correct?
Yes, I'm back here. Yes,
Okay.
we left around I think it was 89. Security wise, things were not good here, and so my parents got kidnapped in around that time, and so we decided to leave, and my mother got transferred to the same company but in stated in Miami, and
Okay.
I lived there for around 6 years, and it was weird because it was like the first day of school, and my second name didn't even make it on the list. So, they just they give the teacher, my homeroom teacher, you have a new student. And I didn't even start in the September. I started like in the middle of the year, really lost, like the new girl, which is really
Mhm.
common in the area where I used to go to school, where a lot of immigrants would go in Miami. And so it was
Mhm.
normal for, a new kid from Cuba or Venezuela or anywhere around Latin America to just make it to school one day. And then the teacher was like, Ileana, trying to pronounce it in his own, ability. And I was like, I don't know who they were talking to. And then it was
Oh,
like,
really? Wow.
that's you with the last name. I'm like, Pita. Yeah, yeah, I'm Pita. And I was like, what do you mean? That's not my name. And then I had to grasp that now I had a new name in a new country, and that developed into another persona, into another
Hmm.
person. And I sort of left behind this other girl that I don't know if I've merged with her yet. I don't know. And so,
Interesting.
yeah,
I
it
love that.
became, yeah. And so I associate different things with her. And also my emotional language is in English.
Okay.
Even though, I'm from here and we came back here and my parents speak Spanish and everybody, around me speaks Spanish and even my friends over there spoke Spanish. Um,
Hmm.
but it gave me like this association with the girl that would read, the girl that would write, because those were things that ingrained in my very soul, because books are very important to me, and I think everything happens for a reason. In Venezuela, it's not very accustomed to read, especially this new era.
Hmm.
Um, and so my dad was always a reading figure, my stepfather, but it was in school in the United States that I felt like, I don't know, there was so much, it was so natural to just be around a book that I fell in love with books, and even though I didn't understand the language at first, I would just try desperately to read books. It was like my companion. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have, I felt it was weird. I felt lonely, and so I think that was my way of, stepping into a world and just trying to read the books until finally I began to understand, and I began to reply to my teachers like, "Oh my God!" And my teammates were like, "She said a word," and yeah. And so, yeah, reading and writing for me are like very intertwined, as well as riding my bike. Riding my bike would have never been possible like I did in the United States. So those were things that, developed with me as Ileana.
Okay.
Then we migrated back, and then it was weird to reintroduce myself to the country that saw me, grow as Andreina, as like this new person, and now I'm another, that this is now I'm Ileana. And it was a sense of, well, coming back bigger, and I was around almost 16. And so I felt
Mhm.
more secure. I was no longer a child. And so for me to go by Ileana is like I have a sense of, I don't know, of my own self, of
Hmm.
my own entity, not as so much as Andreina as a part of and ingrained by a family that, she was very small. And my mother, since I went by Tati, she would only then call me Andreina when she was mad. So she was like, Andreina. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And if
So if I
everything,
called you Andreina, how would you feel if I called you that name?
oh wow, I don't know. I have no idea. Can you say it again?
Andreina?
I think I feel sad.
Really?
Yeah, it feels very, very sad.
Interesting.
Um, yeah. Maybe,
Ileana is so beautiful. It kind of just flows.
yeah, she makes me feel more independent, more in control of my life, more into the ownership of my own life. Like I get to make the decisions for
Hmm.
all of us, all of the women that live within me.
Yeah.
It's the woman that I trust the most. It's the older one, I guess, because it's the one that developed after. And
Okay.
I've developed a short version of it. It goes by Ile, and it's a more softened version of her. Like, oh, she's softening up a little more as she needs to. And so, and I've even thought about like, should I get a new name? Because now I'm also in transition. I'm in a period of individuation. And so
Hmm.
now everything seems different and unknown. And so it's like, what am I gonna go by now? I
Interesting. Do you think
wonder.
you would change your name legally, your first name?
I've thought about it. I don't know if I would go legal, um,
Yeah.
but it has crossed my mind. Um,
Okay.
it has. It
Are
has.
there any other names that stand out that you really like?
There has always been a couple of names that I've always liked, but I thought in the case I had daughters, um, which are Isabel, like my grandmother,
Hmm.
and versions of it, like Isabel and Elena, and I also have this probably because I met two sisters who were my teachers during architecture school. Their names are Isabel and Anna, and they have a sister named Elena that that came into resonance with me, but I didn't have any daughters. Um,
Yeah.
but sometimes I thought about the name Gala. When I was young, we were very into Dali. And so his whole story captivated me, and how they were, partners, but each one had a very individual life and artistic life, and all the magic of their living situation, how she had a castle at some point, and for him to visit her, he had to write her and ask for permission because she would be in her own world, and they would have time together and time apart. And that really made sense to me as I have discovered a deepened sense of sensibility within my own self, and understanding that sometimes I need to, enclose myself from the world to recharge after taking so much. And so that resonated with me a lot, especially their story and their his artistic pursuit. I don't know, it was something that captivated me always.
Nice. I
Yeah.
like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's very complex. Like it's never just an answer. It just has so many like branches and sub stories. I think
No, I love that.
it's complex. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and has Ileana ever been mispronounced?
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah. How does
sure.
it make you feel?
Well, misunderstood, I guess, sometimes. One time when I used to go to school in the United States, it was hardly unpronounced because there were a lot of Spanish speaking teachers and classmates. But then we moved to the Tampa Bay area into a little place called Seminole in Florida. And the Latin American population there was minimal. I think it was like 0.06 or 0.6. It was hardly anybody that spoke Spanish. And so my classmates did not know how to pronounce my name. And so they called me ill.
L. Oh. Oh gosh.
It
Oh.
was very awkward. I tried to blend, but it was really
Yeah.
hard. I only stayed for my freshman year. It was also hard because I was going first time into high school in a new school in a new place. And
That's a rough time in your life, I feel like.
it was hard. I mean, I don't think there was a period in my life that hasn't been hard. And this was a very good I have an understanding that the schools in Seminole were amazing. They had like this top, in the ranking. They were really good, the public schools, but they were very segregated. And
Hmm.
you had halls that you couldn't walk into. And here in Venezuela, we don't have that.
Hmm.
We call, anybody in the streets with a darker color, hola mi negro, and it's like, it's normal.
Hmm.
We're all part of it. I mean, I'm not entirely white and I'm not entirely black, so we're all
Yeah.
mixtures of, the colors of what coffee can do, regarding how
Yeah.
much milk you put it into. And so,
Oh, I like that.
um, yeah, because we have negro, negrito, con leche, marrón. We have like this whole thing regarding coffee.
Very
And
cool.
so I walked into the wrong hall like the
Mhm.
first week. And I
Oh.
was screamed at for walking into the wrong hall. It's like, that's just not your color. You can't walk here. And,
Oh.
and I was like, what? It felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And
Yeah, crazy.
so, yeah, I was very segregated. And
Yeah.
then my friends had never seen a Latin American person ever. They were really, really white, like white hair, white colored hair. I mean, they were so
Mhm.
blonde, so blonde. It was like they were white.
Yeah.
They were very, very black. And so I was like, who the hell are you? They didn't know what to do with me. And they're like, you are not, I mean, you got to be black because you're not white. And I'm sure I would have been the same thing if I went down to the other hall, but it was
Yeah.
hard. Although academically it was amazing. I got to receive an education that prepared me for university. Like when I finally went to the university, this is a piece of cake. I've already had this. I've had much
Oh.
harder. But yeah, I remember like the first difference of being called a name that was not me. It was like, ill. No, we can't pronounce your name, so we're just gonna put this name on you, and you don't
Oh,
fit in.
I don't
Um,
like that at all.
no, it was. I tried, but
Yeah.
thankfully it was over soon. And
Yeah.
then here, mispronunciation, just subtle things like Ileana or Eli, or I don't know, or maybe um wrongly written, but nothing major, nothing really major. It's
Okay.
it's pretty well understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And my second to last question.
Okay.
So, do you think the meaning of your name, Ileana, has any relevance on the way that you act or see the world around you? And if so, how?
Oh wow. Well, the what comes to mind was this thing that I used to do, especially when I was working and being very social, is that I would just solve every problem just by introducing myself with my full name. I would shake a hand, say my full name, ask their name, and it was instant. Anything I wanted, I could achieve. Not out of I want this, I will, I will manipulate to get it, but it was like this confidence
Hmm.
that she gave me, like just go and say your name. And I found that just by stating my name and being interested in the other person with that handshake and saying my name fully, like, hola, mi nombre es Ileana Pita, ta 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 ta, and everything would just open up. And she gave me that. She gave me that sense of I can open all doors. I kind
Hmm.
of forgot how to do that because the accomplishments that she was interested in, especially as I developed as an architect, sort of shifted into a world I didn't understand when I had my children. And it was like everything that I gave value to, achievements and goals and get things done. And I believed in public space and making cities that cities, well-designed cities are good for the soul and good for the communities. And we depend on communities. And I had a lot of dreams. And sadly, this wasn't, the place to fulfill them. And I think it had to happen. I had my children. I had this is the biggest project I've ever had in my life. I totally underestimated it, even though I knew it was going to be hard. And then what I gave value to myself from those accomplishments sort of tumble down because I sort of got into the project and it's like I can't do a wire transfer. This is hard, like breastfeeding, and I wanted to get into it like the best I could and not bottle feed and I just wanted to give them my all, and I definitely did. And then I just stopped understanding what I wanted to do. And well, then came another change, another big major shift. And now I'm trying to understand what is it that I want out of this place of being extremely genuine and leaving behind not only all those names, but all those characters that I played, that I had to play in order to survive a very tumultuous and ever-changing childhood and upbringing that I had ever since I was very small. We moved a
Interesting.
lot. I went to 8 schools and studied in 3 universities and tried this and tried, it was constant change, constant.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that I can learn to open the doors once I understand, what I'm here for. I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
I feel as though, even though I don't know you all that well, what I have come to learn is that you are doing a lot of like internal work.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. Me too. I think once you open that door, it's inevitable. You can't close it. There's no way to close it. It
So
becomes
true.
ingrained into your soul, and there's a lot of shedding. I don't know if you've heard of the hero's journey.
I've
Have
heard
you-
of it. I
Yeah,
don't know too much about it though.
it's fine. But there's a small video I'll send it to you. I'll find it and I'll send it to
Okay.
you. It's about this I think he's a philosopher and he has a lot of titles because he studied a lot. He studied mythology and stories and philosophy and psychology, called Joseph Campbell. And he realized that there's a hero's journey in every tale, whether mystical, mythical, in movies, in real life. There's a point where the person in the story, of course, in our story, individual story, we're the hero. There's a point
Hmm.
in when the hero needs to take on a journey. He can't keep on enduring the life that he has been living because of there's something happens. In movies, we could always see it. There's this problem, there's this situation. And so he embarks on a journey that not only is a physical journey, he might go away or something might happen to him. There are lots of changes, but it's also a spiritual journey. It's a journey to go within. And so the lessons that he learns that are grasped into his own soul are the lessons that he will bring back into his community once his journey is over. And
Mm.
so I had a coach that sent us, the whole group, a video about a Buddha that that was very treasured to a community. And once they were being invaded, they covered the Buddha with a dirt so that they wouldn't steal it, and so they wouldn't see that it was made out of gold. And so they covered it with um with mud. And so thankfully the Buddha was never stolen. But then generations went by and went by, and then nobody took notice of the Buddha until pieces started to fall out, until they discovered that the Buddha was made of gold. And I've felt that, I've felt the pain of like, oh my God, there's a piece of me that's just it's just not hanging, the same way, and it's just making its effort to come off, and I've actually felt it.
Yeah.
And once you remove all those parts that you had to put on, um things that you thought that were part of you that no longer fit, that no longer serve you, that no longer make sense because it's no longer sustainable, they keep coming out, and then at the end you realize that there is gold inside of you and there is light in all of us, and it's that journey of coming to self, into union with our true nature, our true spirit, our true self. And so I am on that path.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
I'm not religious at all, but I've
Yeah.
I understand now.
Yeah.
I feel it. I've come to, access that information by just being in union. And it's like, okay, I get it now. I
Yeah.
understand now.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of a perfect segue into my last question, which
Perfect.
is, and you don't have to be religious, but when I was starting this podcast, I Googled what is the best-selling book of all time, and it
Mhm,
happens to be the Bible.
mhm,
And I was just curious about your opinion as to why the Bible mentions there's a few people that it mentions that their names were changed. Like Sarai was changed to Sarah, and Abram was changed to Abraham, and Saul was changed to Paul. There's a few others. Just kind of
mhm,
curious, like what you think of, like, why was that even mentioned?
mhm, mhm. Oh wow, that's a we can go on forever with this question. I think I'll start from the simple answer that comes to mind, which is transformation. It can be inner or it can be imposed. There's always, I think the purpose in life is to find, to embark on that in that journey of self-transformation, to know, that everything that you've been looking for has always been within you. To discover it is a process, and you could never be the same person as you started out, ever. That for once. Regarding as to the mentioning, I would make a, just not a opinion of what it is, but just what comes up from my, ideas. And the second one was, there's this idea that comes up that in architecture we see it, when one power comes into dominate another. In history, religions were imposed for another, or ways of thinking, or when one political power came into dominate another, certain things were changed. Architecture was modified to maybe to relate to a new way of a new religion, like um, the invasions in Spain. You can see it in Cordoba, like you see the temples being changed. Or during invasions, I know that street names were changed so that military would get lost, so that the new invasion would have no way of getting around a city to protect, the city that was being invaded. Or
Interesting.
yeah, so there's this idea of this old and this new, whether the change comes from the one that's being protected or the one that needs to be imposed as a new way. I also know, well, I've been researching, ironically, this is amazing, about Mary Magdalene, and how in this creation of this unified religion around the period of Constantine, the gospels, certain gospels were not included in what is known today as the unified religion of Jesus Christ. And so, and this is information that I understand is beginning to come out. And so it's very interesting how, what we hide also has meaning of what we left behind into
Hmm.
clues to the future. So it's very interesting also, that aspect of, the Bible that I have recently come into contact with, and
Yeah.
how women's importance was eliminated. Any gospels that had to do with the importance of women preaching or being disciples or bishops, just pretty much ended and eradicated until the fourth century. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's beautiful. I just recently read a book about an author. She relates to herself as a feminist theologist, and she says that, which is so beautiful, that now that we women cannot preach, we are known as we're hidden in society as book authors, or teachers or mentors. Like, we're out there,
Hmm.
we don't have the legal title, I guess, by the current status of religion.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
I find that really pretty.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
ritual has this phrase that I like, that says, we I think it goes by, we live among, the word is not preacher, among prophets.
Hmm.
So, like, there are always enlightened ones around us, and you can sense when somebody's speaking from that truth from within, that universal truth, and they have words to guide whenever we need it. I find,
Yeah. Yeah. That's neat.
yeah.
Love that. When I was also thinking, thank you for that answer, by the way. I'm just like absorbing the meaning of your name, like torch and bright. And it's so interesting that when you told me that you could like feel like the energy and feel like, people's emotions and stuff, like that is very, very, I think it's important and it's wonderful that you can do that. And I think it's maybe the light inside of you that can help you absorb that energy. I don't know. Like, it's very interesting to me. So, do you have any questions for me? Because those were all my questions.
Well, I don't know. How did you get into this? What made you want to get interested into what names can give for us?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, a lot of people ask me that, and I'm always happy to answer that question because I started getting really interested in studying the meaning of names about 2 years ago. I went to Nashville, Tennessee, and I went to this women's Christian conference, and I was like I had just healed from long COVID, and it was like kind of a rough bout of like being in the ER and just like having so much post anxiety from that. And I think like I don't know why, like something in my brain like popped in and said like look up the meaning of your name again. And I did, and I don't know, it was like very enlightening. And when I found that like my name means supplanter, and that word really doesn't, like, I was like I don't know what supplanter is supposed to mean, to me. But when I really dug deep, supplanter means to turn over. And so when you turn something over, you look at it from a different perspective and you look at it from a different angle. And I'm always like, when I first read, gosh, like 10 years ago, the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
Mhm.
One of the things that jumped out at me was the story that he told about shifting your paradigm. How this
Uh,
guy got on like the subway and he had his kids around him and they were going crazy and like somebody on the subway was like, "I'm sorry, but can you please like get your kids to calm down?" And he was like, "No, because or sorry, I just got back from my wife's funeral and they really don't know how to handle their emotions." And then that person who, asked him to quiet his kids down, totally their paradigm was shifted then. And I think that had the a lasting impact on me. And I was thinking, oh, to be a supplanter really could mean shifting your paradigm and I feel as though what I do in my line of work, I help design workflows so that our company can be more efficient. And in doing that, I have to literally look at every single thing from every perspective and angle and department of the company. And I do it well. I think just I don't say that in a boastful way. I say it because I think it's a part of me. I think my name, the meaning of who I am, and I say my name every day. I see it every day. I think it's a part of me, and I think it has really made an impact on what I do and like why I think the way that I think. I'm very analytical, and I always used to hate that about myself. But then coming back to that story of Nashville, like looking at the meaning of my name again, it reinforced who I am. And it helped me realize, like, maybe this is a part of my purpose. And then it was so powerful for me. So I was like, if this was powerful for me, maybe I can help other people in finding power in understanding the meaning of their name. And it took me about 2 years to come up with these 8 questions. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I had these questions. I wrote them down on my phone. And then I was like, I'm just going to start a podcast. So I did it.
wow. Wow. That is amazing.
Thanks.
There are several things that you said that just flipped me.
Hmm.
Ironically, the word flip.
Yeah.
Um, in the story from the book, The Seven Habits, I felt like this conversation was sort of what's the word? Like I had been here before.
Hmm.
Like he has got to be
Oh,
kidding me. Like what?
I know what
Um,
you're talking about.
what?
I know I can't think of the
Um,
word.
I was like, okay, let me just breathe a little. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, I have two versions. I mean, I have two copies of that book.
Okay.
I haven't finished it, but it was like so sad. It was not just a story because I think I might have read that part, but it was like, no, 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 no. It was that story right here. And to turn over, wow. And to the fact that this was just very recent after COVID.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. COVID changed me a lot for sure.
Wow. I do think that COVID changed everybody. At least
Yeah.
everybody that was willing to change or that needed to shift. The word
Hmm.
shift for me is so important. I've always known, or I've always felt sort of pulled through things. Like sometimes things like, captivate your attention. And I've always had this pull to gazing at runners. It's like, oh God, I want to run. And,
Yeah.
and I've attempted it when I was young, but then 3 weeks later, there was always this new boyfriend, this new thing, and I would leave it. After COVID hit here around March of 2020,
Hmm.
at a very difficult time in my life. In 2019, finally the bomb exploded in my home and it's like, okay, we're getting a divorce. I'm like, okay, fine. And so it was like, I can't do this anymore. I didn't leave the house for 3 months. For three
Hmm.
months, I didn't even go out of my apartment. And so
Wow.
I just bought some shoes online. They finally arrived, wrong size, wrong everything, but I didn't care. My running shoes were, 10 years old. I had gotten a beaten out of them like in several times, and it's like I need new shoes. And so I went out, and as soon as I stepped outside and saw the daylight, it was like, "Oh, I'm doing this." And I didn't want to quit like I had done before. So I swore to myself, I'm doing this every day and I'm not stopping. And it's like, when do you consider yourself you're going to be a runner? And I said 2 years. I'm not going to stop for 2 years nonstop. And I didn't stop for 2 years. Every day I went out running. And what I discovered was that that thing that had captivated me from seeing other runners, especially older runners, it was like I was a runner. I've been a runner always. I just had never, it was never the time. And during my running, I experienced the shifts. And I could shift from feeling low into darkness to shifting into light and
Hmm.
into love. And that's how I began to understand what I was like, now I understand what their preachers are preaching about, or the sent ones or the enlightened ones or the Buddha. I can understand that. I came in like into touch into this sort of knowing, and I called it the shift. And every time I couldn't be in this lower state, because I was dealing with too much, it was like, just go out and run.
Yeah.
And I could, I felt out of body experiences. I could feel myself higher in another place. I
Hmm.
could feel my whole body vibrate to the music. It was like, this is who
That's
I
cool.
am.
I love
I
that.
don't know what I'm going to do with this, but this is it.
Yeah.
I know how to shift. And it's,
Yeah. Were you
yeah.
looking for the term deja vu, by the way? Okay.
Thank you.
I was like, it's
Thank
deja
you.
vu, I think.
What is going on? It just flipped my brain. I was like, she's talking about that story right now. It's like, it was like a picture, like,
Interesting.
like when you, I don't know, time move through time or something. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know, this was somewhere in my head. And the way that everything happened is like, you want to do the, yeah, I want to do the podcast. Yeah, let's do this. It's amazing. I salute you for this. I mean, I'm so honored and I am so proud of you to just,
Mm.
be into this thing that you allowed yourself to be led by this intuition, this calling, this interest that was bigger than you could explain, and here I am. I find this very magical.
Thank you. I'm very thankful to have met you. I feel
Oh,
like,
me too.
yeah, I just feel like yeah, I believe everything happens for a reason. And I feel as though you make me feel like brighter, and that I'm, doing the right thing. I have had people tell me like, what are you doing? Like, this is so stupid. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You can think that, whatever. It's
Yes, I
helped me become
do.
stronger for sure.
Well, now I'm going to tell you, you're going to flip. Um, I enrolled in a course around 2020 or 21 around flow, and with the FRC, the Flow Research Collective, ran by Stephen Kotler. Stephen Kotler's mission is to, spread as much information as possible to everyone regarding flow and how to work in better states and create in better states and understand your biology.
Mhm.
And so I used that course during, my inner work. And I found it to be very aligned, not only for, goal driven, tangible goals, but also for my inner work, those things that
Yeah,
are not tangible. And
that's awesome.
so one of the things that they emphasized was to know your purpose, your
Mm.
massive transformative purpose. And I felt a deep need to work with women and to understand that if I had this inside of me, what would the world be like if all the women knew how much power they had inside of them?
Mm.
And this power does not come from the the realm of the masculine, as in how many goals do you have, but to tap into your inner calling and your inner intuition and your inner power, that's sometimes our power. Just as we make babies, it's not about how much you work, it's how much you listen and how
Yeah.
much you allow yourself to, be truthful and I can imagine, like, what would the world we like be like if we spoke more from that place?
Mm,
What would the school system be like if mothers had a chance to say, this is not working, I want something better? Or what would, the our whole communities be like if we served as mothers and as collaborative women, and women that do not gossip, to each other or speak bad about each other or criticize other women, but understand each other and what we're going through.
mm,
And it made me realize, that we have so much potential to discover.
yeah.
And so yeah, that seems to be where I'm going for. I am very happy to know that you've committed to something that people might not understand, and that's even the greater. That's
Mm,
that's that's so amazing, because you keep going because it's yours. There's no way that you will not listen to it, because you're listening to yourself, and that's amazing.
mm,
That's what we need everybody to do. That's what we need everybody to be more genuine and more into truth with who everybody is, which is something very particular, everyone. And
yeah.
yeah, I love it. I support you.
Thank you. Likewise.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm
Yeah, it's
excited to
amazing.
see how you, grow and shine brighter and brighter. So I'm excited. I'm glad we connected.
Excited as well, and it's a very purposeful time as well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. This is amazing.
Oh, good. Very good. Well, I will go ahead and stop the recording, but thank you so much. And
Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you so much.
appreciate you.
Oh, amazing.
All right. Have a lovely day.
You too, baby.